You walk every day, but every time you try to stand up from a chair, you still have to push hard with your hands just to get up. If that question touches something inside you, then this video is probably not appearing in front of you by accident. Today I want to start with a sentence that may sound a little upside down. Stop for a moment if walking is the only form of exercise you have been doing after the age of 65. It is not because walking is bad. In fact, walking is very good for your heart, your lungs, your brain, and your mood. But after a certain age, only walking is like whispering to your muscles. Please hang in there while your muscles have already started to go a little hard of hearing. They no longer see that as a strong enough signal to rebuild strength. You will not notice this on a step-counting app, but in very ordinary moments of daily life. You feel it when you stand up from a chair and your hands must push hard before your body can rise. You feel it when you step into the bathroom and one small slip is enough to make your heart jump. You feel it when your children or grandchildren invite you to travel, and in your heart, you feel more worry than excitement, afraid of falling, afraid you will not be able to keep up. If you are still walking regularly, then why are your muscles and your confidence quietly disappearing? That is the question we are going to answer together. In this video, I am not going to tell you that you must train like an athlete. I am going to show you a 10-second test with a simple chair that will tell you how old your legs really are, and 3 very simple movements that take less than 10 minutes with no equipment to begin taking back the functional strength you now have lost. Before you scroll away to another video, I would love for you to ask yourself just one question. Right now, am I truly as strong and steady as I want to be? Or am I just hoping that I am? Before we go any deeper, I should probably introduce myself so you know who you are listening to. My name is Howard Tucker. I am a doctor who specializes in joints, muscles, and longevity. Throughout my career, I have worked with thousands of older adults, people very much like you. They walk regularly, they do not want to bother their children, and they simply hope to keep their independence for as long as possible. What stays with me the most is that their stories are almost always the same. They sit in front of me smiling and say, "Doctor, I walk every single day. In the morning, I go around the park. In the afternoon, I walk around the neighborhood. I am very dedicated." But when I ask them to stand up from a chair without using their hands, many of them have to push hard on the armrests, and some of them stop halfway and cannot get all the way up. Some tell me that they almost fell in the bathroom, and ever since then, every shower comes with a quiet sense of fear. Some admit that they turned down a trip with their children and grandchildren only because they were afraid of the airport, the escalators, and the possibility of falling when no one could catch them in time. And then they look at me and ask, "I walk regularly like that, so why do I still feel weak and unsure of myself?" Doctor, I am not saying that walking is bad. I simply want to say this gently. Walking is very good, but only walking is not enough to preserve your strength and independence after the age of 65. Now, let us talk a little about the simple science behind all of this, so you can understand why your body responds the way it does. First of all, let me repeat this clearly. Walking is very good. It is like a kind message sent to your heart, your blood vessels, your brain, and your spirit every day. Your heart settles, your blood pressure can become more stable, your mind relaxes, and your sleep often improves. No one can deny those benefits. However, when it comes to your muscles after the age of 65, walking tells a different story. It is a very low resistance activity, which means your muscles do not have to work hard. You repeat the same movement for many years so your muscles get used to it. They no longer see it as an urgent signal to rebuild strength. I often jokingly call this muscle deafness, muscles that have become a little hard of hearing. At this age, light stimulation, such as slow walking or very gentle standing movements, is almost not loud enough for your muscles. Your muscles need clearer, stronger signals, movements that make you bear your own weight, such as standing up and sitting down from a chair, gentle pushing movements, and active balance exercises where your body is required to stabilize itself. Without those signals, your muscles gradually enter a state called sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss. Studies show that after the age of 60, if we do not train properly, we can lose around 1 to 3% of our muscle mass each year. The type of muscle fibers that allow us to stand up quickly, walk with confidence, and react in time when we slip are exactly the fibers that disappear fastest if we only walk slowly. That is why in medicine, people do not only ask how far can you walk, they also look at your functional strength. They want to know if you can stand up from a chair without using your hands, if you can go in and out of the bathroom safely, if you can push a door open and lift a bag, and if you can catch yourself when you misstep. The good news is that to improve all of this, you do not need a gym or heavy weights. You only need 3 very simple exercises using a chair, a wall, and a few mindful steps, and we are going to go through them together right now. Exercise 1, SITTOSTAND, chair squat. Now, we will start with the first exercise, which is also the most important one. I call it the sit to stand, or standing up and sitting down from a chair. It sounds very ordinary, but for an older adult, this is not just an exercise. This is a lifeline that helps keep you from becoming dependent on others. First, choose a very sturdy chair with no wheels that does not slide, and if possible, place the back of the chair against a wall so it does not move. Stand directly in front of the chair with your back facing it. Place your feet about shoulder width apart with your toes pointing straight ahead, or slightly outward if your knees feel uncomfortable. Now take a gentle breath in and imagine that you are about to sit down. Do not collapse your back or drop heavily into the chair. Instead, push your hips back as if someone is gently pulling the waistband of your pants backward. Slowly lower your body in a controlled way, letting your hips move closer and closer to the seat. When you feel your hips just barely touch the surface of the chair, only a light touch, do not sit down completely and do not relax your body. At that exact moment, press your heels firmly into the floor as if you want to leave a footprint on the tile. At the same time, squeeze the muscles in your buttocks and thighs and drive your body back up until you are standing tall again, chest open and shoulders relaxed. When you are just starting, you only need to do 5 repetitions, about 3 sessions per week, and that is already very good. If after some time you feel more comfortable, you can gradually increase to 8 to 10 repetitions or divide it into 2 to 3 rounds of 5 repetitions per day, depending on your own ability. This exercise, which seems simple, actually targets your thigh muscles, your glute muscles, and your hip area. These are exactly the muscle groups that decide whether you can stand up from a chair, from your bed, or from the toilet by yourself, whether you can go up and down stairs without having to cling tightly to the handrail, and whether you can lower your risk of falling in the bathroom or in the kitchen, which are the places where many older adults have serious accidents. In medicine, the act of standing up and sitting down from a chair is also used as a functional health test because it is strongly related to the risk of falls and even early mortality in older adults. In other words, every time you stand up from a chair without using your hands, you are sending a very powerful message to your own future. At the end of this video, I will invite you to perform at least 1 sit to stand repetition right where you are. In that moment, you will feel very clearly whether your muscles are still listening to you. Now that your legs have their independence chair, we need a little more strength for your upper body, the part that quietly helps you push yourself up every morning. Exercise 2. Wall push-up. I would like you to find an empty section of wall without cabinets or pictures in the way. Stand facing the wall at a distance of about 1 arm's length with your arm fully extended. Then raise your hands and place your palms flat on the wall at about shoulder height and slightly wider than shoulder width. Slowly bend your elbows so that your chest moves closer and closer to the wall. You can count slowly 1, 2, on the way down so that your muscles work more and you stay safe. Pay attention to your elbows. They should not flare out to 90 degrees. Instead, keep them at about a 45-degree angle pointing slightly down. This position is kinder to your shoulder joints. When your chest is close to touching the wall, press firmly through your hands, push your palms into the wall, and bring your body back to the starting position, standing tall again. That is 1 repetition. At the beginning, you only need to do 8 to 10 repetitions. If you still feel comfortable, you can rest for a moment and then repeat 1 more set. This exercise is not meant to give you big, bulky muscles. It is meant to keep your chest, your shoulders, and the back of your arms strong enough so that you can push yourself up from bed on your own, push yourself out of a bathtub or a low chair, and most importantly, brace yourself with your arms to protect your head and chest if you happen to slip. I often tell my patients, this is the quiet exercise that helps you avoid having to call someone else every time you want to sit up from bed. Exercise 3. Standing march with arm swing. Now we come to the third exercise, which is for your brain and your balance. Please stand behind a sturdy chair and place 1 or both hands lightly on the back of the chair so that you feel secure. First, stand as tall as you comfortably can and imagine a gentle string pulling the top of your head upward. Then lift your right knee forward to a height that feels comfortable to you. Ideally, it comes close to hip level, but there is no need to force it. At the same time, swing your left arm forward just like when you are walking in a normal, relaxed way. Next, lower your right foot back down and bring your left arm back to the starting position. Then switch sides, lift your left knee, and swing your right arm. Continue to march in place like this, but remember 3 things: move slowly, stay in control, and keep your abdomen gently engaged as if you are lightly drawing your belly button inward. Perform this movement continuously for 30 seconds, then rest for a short while and repeat it 2 to 3 times depending on your strength and energy. Although it looks simple, this exercise helps wake up your core muscles, which are the foundation of your balance, and it helps your brain, your legs, and your arms coordinate more smoothly. It is like a dress rehearsal for very real situations in daily life, such as stepping over a rug or a door threshold, or turning around in your living room or kitchen without feeling unsteady. And there is one thing I want you to remember with just these 3 exercises. If you practice them regularly, 3 times per week, under 10 minutes each time, your body will already begin to reverse that feeling of weakness and unsteadiness that many of us have always blamed on just getting old. In the final part, we will wrap everything up with a very small test, one that can completely change the way you see your own strength. Before we finish, I would like you to try one very small thing right now. If you are sitting, take a gentle breath in, then stand up from your chair using only your legs without pushing with your hands. Once you are standing, pause for a few seconds and listen to your body. How are your thighs and glutes working? How is your breathing and your balance? Whether you feel solid and steady or a little shaky, that is your body speaking to you, saying, I still have the ability to respond if you give me a chance. Strength after the age of 65 is not about becoming young again. It is about keeping your freedom in the smallest everyday actions, like standing up, going into the bathroom, or stepping up a single stair without needing to ask for help. Every time you patiently repeat these 3 simple exercises, you are casting a vote for your future independence. If you decide to begin today, please write a comment that says, I am starting today. I read every single message, and it genuinely gives me more motivation to continue making videos like this for you. If you find this helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about, especially those who believe that it is already too late to become strong again. Today, you did more than just watch a video. You chose a new direction for your health. And sometimes that is all it takes for the story of your life to turn a new page.